Your quick thoughts on that before we jump into our lead block. Well, we'll just do the lead block. Who won the night, guys, when we start talking about this draft? Obviously, we had Caleb Williams coming off the board, and then after that, we were talking about as many as 6 coming off at the quarterback position. We saw just that. But I am curious, when you guys look at this draft, obviously we focused on Caleb Williams. We've talked about J.J. McCarthy going to Minnesota. Bo Nix, a bit of a shocker, going to Denver. But if you had to pick out of all the 32 teams that picked in that first round, who would you say, Kyle, we'll start with you, one night one?
Well, I have a few things to say about what the Chicago Bears did last night. I'm going to get comfortable. I got time today, Jason. I saw Caleb Williams come onto the stage and scream, and I think he was really mirroring a lot of what the Bears fans were doing. But I have a lot of love for the Lions fans, a lot of love for the Lions fans. I think they know that. I wish I could say, though, Lions fans, that I have nothing but love for you. It's not true. I also have kind of an announcement. I have a little bit of a warning, and it's for the Lions fans.
Here we go.
And it's for the Vikings fans. And, yes, it's for the Packers fans. Okay? Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
It's all.
The Chicago Bears are no longer yours to kick around. Do you understand? It changed. It's over now. And frankly, Lions fans, you weren't kicking them around anyways. This is big boy stuff now. This is varsity stuff now. When the schedule comes out and you see the little Bears logo on a given week, that's going to be a bad thing. When you watch RedZone, they're going to go to the Bears, and that's going to be a bad thing. You can go ahead and make your jokes, and you're conditioned to joke about the Bears and to mock the Bears. I understand that. I saw last night, Ross Tucker tweets out, I haven't seen Bears fans this excited since they drafted Justin Fields 3 years ago. Ross is one of the biggest jerks in the industry. I would expect that from him. Go ahead. It's fine. Get it all out now. Because last night was the most exciting night for the Chicago Bears, I think, in 5 years. And that includes games. And you might say, oh, that's so sad. That's really sad. It is sad. It's been tough sledding. I'm not denying it. It's been a tough, tough time. And I hear this, it's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up. No, it's how many times you get knocked down. I don't know what kind of Freddie Roach was talking about there. It is how many times you get knocked down. And they're not getting knocked down anymore. Make your jokes because you can't attack the talent. Caleb Williams is going to start his first game as a Chicago Bear, and he's going to look around in the huddle, and he's going to see Adunze and DJ and Keenan and Gerald and Komet and Swift and Herbert. You know what? He's not going to see all those guys because they can't all fit in the damn huddle. The Bears have so many players, they need 2 Ubers to get around. They can't even fit into the Uber XL. They need a second one. So go ahead and make all of your nail polish jokes. Do it. I know it's done out of insecurity, and for the first time in years, I can say as a Bears enthusiast, it's done out of jealousy. They're the cool team. They're the loaded team. Soak it in. It's real. You're not dreaming. It happened, and it's going to keep happening. And, Peter, I'm going to finish with this. You remember the Khaleesi, right? Of course?
Of course.
And the Khaleesi is giving a speech to Tyrion. And Khaleesi says, Lannister, Stark, Targaryen, they're all just spokes on a wheel, and it spins round and round, and Tyrion's not impressed. And he says, oh, you're going to stop the wheel. I understand a lot of people have tried to do that. Khaleesi says, no, I'm not going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel. And I would say to Bears fans, Fields, Trubisky, Cutler, they're all just spokes on a wheel. McCown, it goes around and around and around. Caleb Williams is not going to stop the wheel. He's going to break the wheel. He is the breaker of wheels, the mover of change. The Chicago Bears are no longer yours to laugh at, meme about, and kick around. Soak it in, swallow it. It's happening. It's real. Take that in.
Come on now. Come on now.
That didn't end well.
Bleeping down.
Let's go. Bear bleeping down.
That didn't end well for Khaleesi, though, Kyle.
Do you hear me? Bear down! They hear it. Do you hear? I said bear down!
Come on!
Do you hear it? Listen up. They hear it. You hear it. Go.
Now go. Taking it
Peter,
from there. Let me go from here, Kyle. Well done.
Please.
Kyle just talked about a moribund franchise that hasn't had any good moments in about 20 years, and he's enjoying himself, and he's getting his... Let me talk about the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs here instead. Let me talk about this. Let me talk about the Chiefs. Because, well,
so dramatic.
Because whereas there are 31 other fan bases who were sitting on the edge of their seats last night and they're believing, like Kyle, that they're suddenly Super Bowl contenders, there is a team in Kansas City that everyone should be trying to stop from doing it yet again. And sure enough, I'm watching last night as the draft board is falling and things are happening and we're going and there's trades and there's no trades and the what? How is the rest of the league going to let the Kansas City Chiefs draft Xavier Worthy at 28 overall?
Question, please. Keep going.
We are, okay, there's only 32 teams. At some point, 31 of you have to call each other and say, let's not give the Chiefs the fastest player to ever show up at the Combine.
They should collude.
They should collude in some way and say, okay, one of us has to bite the bullet. One of us get in front of the Chiefs and make sure Xavier Worthy doesn't go to the Kansas City Chiefs.
What's the Jesse Pinkman? He can't keep getting away with this!
It's insane to me that the Kansas City Chiefs quietly move up 4 picks and get a guy who ran a 4.23 40 a couple months ago that we all saw. And here's the thing with Worthy. I know he's only 170 pounds, and people at home are going to say, he's just a lightweight wide receiver. Played 3 years in college, is 5'11". He's listed at 6'1" at the Texas Media Guide.
Listen to Peter. We're making television. Keep going.
Let's go. This is one of those deals where, like, he's a true receiver. He runs routes. He does it all. He does the route tree. He interviewed with teams. He was great. Yeah. I had Xavier Worthy going 17 in my mock draft. A lot of people were like, he might be gone top 12, top 13. Like, that's how high the league is on him right now. 28 to the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs. They won the Super Bowl last year. They won the Super Bowl this year. They won the NFL draft night, day one. They get Xavier Worthy. They add him to a team. And guess what? Travis Kelce has added 5 years to his career. You can dance and sing and be a tortured poet with your girlfriend. You can do it all because you know what? They're going to be flying trying to chase down Marquise Brown and Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce's going to have single coverage underneath.
Where did the Chiefs get the pick from? Somebody in the NFC? Like
the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, the team they've been tormenting for years.
The team that traded them the Mahomes pick.
Oh, my God.
Chiefs won the draft. Bears, enjoy your big weekend in April. All right, Jason, what do you got?
I'm so disappointed that my kids already left for school because Kyle was getting the crowd and everybody involved. I was going to have them just file in, and I was going to have them do a skull clap behind me
they
as I talked about the Minnesota Vikings. No doubt about it. It's on TV. Like, don't listen to that crazy man. Get him off the screen. But I'm rolling with the Minnesota Vikings as winning the night. We talked about them getting J.J. McCarthy, but we thought when they made that trade with the Houston Texans weeks ago that they were doing that to possibly have to move up into the top 5 to get the quarterback that they wanted. They didn't have to do that. They only had to bump up one spot from 11 to 10 to land a quarterback that they believe is the guy that's going to lead them into the future. All right, they had pick 23. They weren't done yet. They move up 6 spots and go and get Dallas Turner, the defensive guy that a lot of people had as their first guy coming off the board on that side of the ball. And when Dallas Turner gets drafted, they show him walking up to that podium to meet Goodell. He looked like a crazed man. He looked pissed off that he was waiting in the green room for so long. It was a walk where he was talking to himself. He looked like he was getting ready to check in the game and cause havoc. So I look at this from their standpoint, and you talk about adding Brian Flores last year to the defense. Now you go out and you get a guy like Dallas Turner, but also Jonathan Green or Andrew Van Ginkel, those guys that they add to the defensive side of the ball. And now Kevin O'Connell gets a quarterback that he believes can get him over the top. The one thing that O'Connell said about J.J. McCarthy after drafting him was when you talk to his teammates and everybody there at Michigan, the one thing that they all said, he came through for that team whenever they needed him most. And Minnesota feels like that's what they were missing at their quarterback position with Kirk Cousins. Whether it all works out or not, we'll see that in the coming future. Jane, won tonight. Who you rolling with?
Look, I think it's hard to make a case for anyone other than the Bears. I think Kyle eloquently laid it all out. They've coming with a stacked cupboard, a lot of weapons. I want to put Peter and Kyle on the spot just a little bit, and if we have time, Jason, I'll throw you in. Aside from Atlanta, was there any pick that you kind of went meh in the first round?
Sure. Yeah, well, listen, I can speak for the fans. I think the Giants drafted Malik Neighbors, and we all like Neighbors, but everyone's like, wait a second, they're going to trade this, or they're going to draft the quarterback. And I think there was a palpable amongst the Giants fan base. And listen, that's a reflection of Daniel Jones, and that's a reflection of all of us buying into the draft hype for the last month that they're moving on. They ain't moving on. And Malik Neighbors is going to be catching passes from Daniel Jones. I think that was a little surprising.
You talk about we don't know, so this is too soon, but like the Cowboys sitting there at 24, we're going all in, push the chips, and they end up trading back and taking a Tyler Guyton, who might be a project. We don't know. Maybe he starts right away, but the expectation is it might take him a while to get there. To me, if you're a Dallas fan this morning, you're like, that's a smart pick long term. But if we're all in and we're looking for a Super Bowl, like, I don't know if Guyton gets us over the.
We have to talk about another one, too. Like, the Bills didn't draft a player last night, and they traded their pick to the Chiefs to get the fastest wide receiver in history. Jason, talk about it. Like, the Diggs trade happens, and you're like, well, Bean will take care of it. And listen, you trust your GM. He has a plan. He moved back. I'm sure he has the plan. But after night one, they're like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I think there's a little fear this morning in Buffalo.
Definitely. Bills Mafia has to be wondering. There was a meme going around the internet where you have your dinner right there in front of you and they lift the top off and there's absolutely nothing on the plate. And that's how fans had to feel because you're expecting them to at least go out and get a wide receiver in a draft that is so deep. And we see guys go at the end of the first round. Ricky Pearsall, Leggett goes as well. And the Buffalo trades out and they don't bring anybody into that franchise. So if you're talking about a meh type of performance, I don't think I can look past the Buffalo Bills.
This is really in the weeds, but if you're one of the fans at the end of the first round, this is fascinating. So the Kansas City Chiefs traded the pick. They then traded the pick again, and then the Bills traded the pick. So the 32nd pick is sitting there. I could tell you there were about 5 teams trying to move up to 32. So why would the last pick of the first round matter? If you draft one of these wide receivers with the last pick of the first round or any pick in the first round, you get them for 5 years. You get the 4 years and the 5th-year option. If you take them one day later, you only get them for 4 years. So Carolina was calling, but so were other teams to get up to 32. And the player is Xavier Leggett. But you saw David Tepper, the owner of the Panthers, doing like a clap, and they were so excited. They look like they got him on a bargain price because we got an extra year on him. But there were other teams calling up, too. It was kind of neat to watch all those wide receivers at the end. But I don't know anybody, and Tom Pelissero and I were talking about, I don't know anybody that had Ricky Pearsall going before A.D. Mitchell and going before Ladd McConkey. So maybe the biggest shocker of the night was actually San Francisco taking Ricky Pearsall in the first round. But you know what? That was the guy that had their eyes on, loves contact, and he's going to love him having a big moment with Ayuk and Debo out there in San Francisco.
Where are we going, guys? Let's keep this train rolling.
Well, and now the speculation they might move on. I was going to say, now the speculation they might move on from Debo Samuel is just fascinating.
Right on.
All right.
Back to you, Kyle. I didn't know if you had a final thought.